The Honor 10 Lite is the latest addition to the brand's mid-range lineup, and it hopes to ride on the success of the original Honor 10. It has the same size battery, a larger screen with a smaller notch, the memory is now expandable via a micro SD slot, and right from the get-go it comes out with the latest Android 9 Pie. Design. The Honor 10 Lite sports an elongated display, a corner-mounted vertically aligned dual rear camera, a centrally positioned rear fingerprint sensor, and an eye-catching body with styled reflective pattern work across its back. At first glance, it's a pleasing-looking handset that's keeping with the company's other late 2018 phones. Pick the phone up, and you'll immediately notice that despite presenting as glass and metal, it actually sports an all-plastic build. The shiny back, along with the display, which comes with a pre-fitted screen protector, also hold onto smudges and fingerprints all too easily, so be prepared to buff this phone up often, if you choose to ignore the included in-box case. The phone's volume rocker and power key run down the right side of its body. They feel perfectly solid, sturdy and should sit within easy reach for most users but, like the body, are hewn from plastic rather than metal, reinforcing the phone's standing as a budget handset. The base of the phone features the increasingly uncommon but unquestionably appreciated 3.5mm headphone jack, along with a loudspeaker, and a micro USB port. I would have liked USB-C, as is now the standard for most phones at higher price points. Screen. The 6.21-inch Full HD Plus IPS display renders the Lite one of the larger handsets out there right now. The rounded corners of the relatively thin bezel ensure the phone boasts up-to-date styling, while the small rounded dewdrop notch at the top houses the impressive 24-megapixel front-facing camera, which also allows for face unlocking. It's a perfectly capable display for enjoying media or web browsing, let down by weak contrast and viewing angles that feature noticeable brightness drop-off the moment the phone is held off-angle. Hardware. The Kirin 710 is a decidedly mid-range processor and it is paired with 3, 4 or 6 GB of RAM, depending on the variant you opt for. Storage measures 32, 64 or 128 GB and you can expand that further via the micro SD slot. Performance. The Kirin 710 is a decent mid-range processor with enough power for most users' everyday smartphone needs. The Lite has little issue as you zip around the user interface and even jumping between open apps is pleasantly snappy. Don't expect flagship-class responsiveness, but don't fret about day-to-day performance either. Software. Like many other Chinese smartphones, the Immune 9 takes inspiration from iOS for its general design. The software skin is built on top of Android Pie, and doesn't use an app drawer by default. You can however pop into the settings to switch over to an app drawer-based interface. Once you get over the mild tackiness of the knockoff icons, the interface and general implementation isn't all that bad. In fact, Honor has done a pretty good job implementing features, like gestures for navigating around the interface. Moving on, the phone has support for face recognition to unlock your device. It worked reasonably well, even in not-so-great light, and was more often than not faster than the standard fingerprint-based unlock. Cameras. One of the big talking points with the Honor 10 Lite is its front-facing camera. 24 megapixels means it captures a generous amount of image data, and there are a wealth of pro selfie features on hand to augment the shooting experience further. Generally, image quality is good in natural light. The dual main sensor setup on this Honor isn't going to win any awards, but it's well equipped to give similarly priced smartphones a run for their money. In low light, the standard shooting mode is an absolute no-go, since the images are plagued by blur and a severe loss of fine detail. Thankfully, Honor has included a night mode, which is surprisingly effective. Noise and grain unquestionably go up when shooting in this mode, but so does detail. It doesn't come close to what the Google Pixel 3 or Huawei Mate 20 Pro are capable of, but it does at least make otherwise pointless shots worthwhile. Battery life. The Honor 10 Lite has a 3400 mAh battery, which might come across as disappointing to a lot of users. It'll last you a full day, but no more. Verdict. Unfortunately, in an overcrowded mid-range segment, the Honor 10 Lite doesn't really stand out with anything exceptional. It's a decent all-rounder, but it's a tough one to recommend when taking into account what the competition offers.